It's a My Little Pony mystery, a My Little Pony mystery, a My Little Pony mystery. It's a My Little Pony mystery, a My Little Pony mystery, a My Little Pony mystery. We're back, we're back, we're back. And so's he. Da, 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 da. My Little Pony Mystery number 15. Who is the Black Pony of Darkness? Tape 3, Side A. Desiree reached out and felt something soft and squishy against her skin. She opened her eyes quickly to see what it was, and she found that she was inside a sleeping bag. Then she remembered she'd been laying on Nightmare Castle's floor overnight. All of the ponies in Ponyland had been. 4 of the helpers had turned against the black ponies, and they had freed 4 of the black ponies who had actually turned out to be customized MLPs. She yawned and stretched out in the sleeping bag before crawling out. Majesty was already awake and looking at a calendar on the wall. The little white unicorn was giggling as she changed the date on the calendar. Desiree looked up. 4th of September, 2006. What's going on? Desiree asked, still half asleep. Oh, you're awake, are you? Majesty said. I was just changing the calendar to the correct date. 4th of September, 2006. But it can't be the 4th of September. It's still August. Not anymore, it isn't, Desiree. I twirled my horn, and I've let all of you sleep for a whole week. The helpers have slept too, which means that they will not be returning until tomorrow, because they will be confused, and they will believe that it's next Tuesday, or the 5th of September, when they have to return for Mary Cluckton's big meeting. The little pony giggled again, and she twirled her horn to make sure that everybody could wake up. Desiree and Majesty quickly explained what had happened. I thought that it would give you plenty of time to think and get rested, because I don't think that we're going to have much sleep in the next few days, Majesty said. After all, we have a lot of hard work to do. We have to save all of the black ponies, and I do believe that the 4 helpers and 4 once black ponies told us that there were ponies upstairs in the helpers' apartments who needed rescuing too. What about all those custom-made ponies? Splodge asked. What's going to happen about them? We should have been searching for them, and instead you just let us sleep. Nothing will have happened to them because I allowed the helpers to sleep for a week too. You will find that I have been awake all of this time, and I have been sending messages into your dreams. So now you should all have an idea of some of the challenges we will have to face in the next few days. We do have to go and search for the custom-made ponies down on Earth, because from this moment on the helpers are now awake, and so they will now all be disposing of those ponies in whatever nasty way that they wish. Oh, cucumber cake, that does not sound good, Dodge said. First of all then, Majesty, what do we have to do? Are we going up to the helpers' apartments first to save the ponies up there? I do believe that's what you said in my dream. That's right. I'm so glad that at least one of you was listening to me. Majesty laughed once again. She was in a happy mood because she knew that soon all of their troubles would be over. That's not true, Majesty. You make it sound like, Dodge has been listening to you and the rest of us haven't. But I remember all of that, dream messages you sent me. And I would guess that
a lot of the others, you know, remember them too. Am I right? Yes, I know. Well, do you or don't you?
Twinkle turned round to a chorus of agreement. Everybody remembered Majesty's message clearly. And the first thing they had to do was go up to the helpers' apartments, upstairs in the nasty castle. And who knew what horrors would be waiting for them there? Majesty may have made sure that all of the black ponies and their helpers down on Earth had been asleep, and the same for the ponies in Ponyland for the previous week, but the creatures who she hadn't sent to sleep were the custom-made ponies down on Earth. If only they had known that all of the helpers were asleep, that would have been their perfect opportunity to escape. Though they probably would have had no way of getting to the pony rescue home anyway. Unfortunately, they hadn't known that the helpers were asleep though, and so they still shivered in fear in their bags and boxes, waiting to see what the future held for them. The ponies slowly crept up the spiral staircase. They didn't know why they were walking so slowly and quietly, because obviously there were no black ponies or helpers in the castle. They were just doing it out of habit. Soon they were on the top level of the castle, where the black ponies' helpers' apartments were. The 4 helpers, who were guiding them through the castle, led them into a corridor. On both sides of them were doors. Red doors, with padlocks on them. Luckily, the 4 helpers had brought a set of keys, and now that they were free from the black ponies, and were officially on the MLP's side, they could do what they wished with them. Slowly they started to unlock one of the doors.
This is where the worst of them are. This is the communal room for all of the helpers.
Rainbow Showers said. Once the Black Pony of Sorrow said. The door swung open, and the little white pony who had just told them this led them inside.
So, as you can see, if you can just keep your eyes to the floor, first of all, I will give you a guided tour. This is the communal room, as I just said, for all of the helpers to gather in. They have a television there, which shows all Ponyland channels, which meant that they could get the latest news updates on what was happening in Ponyland, and all of the Earth channels from all of the different countries, which meant that all of the helpers were happy since they could see their own TV shows. And as you can see, these are the black leather settees where they used to sit. All kinds of magazines lay on the coffee table because, of course, we have all sorts of helpers. Again, all of them come from different countries.
Dandy, once the Black Pony of Misery, said.
On this shelf, they always kept all of the games which they used to play late at night. All of the games were stolen, you understand. For instance, helper number 10 and 11 gave us this Monopoly game, and they said that their daughter-in-law had given it to them, but who knows where she got it from. Helper number 18 wasn't too happy to hand it over. He said it was wrong, but in the end he reluctantly agreed. Dazzle, once the Black Pony of Disasters, pulled out quite an old Monopoly board.
Hey, that used to be mine, but it disappeared.
Jackie cried.
Now we know where Emma took it and what happened to it in the end.
Well, you can take that back then,
Dazzle said.
As you can see,
There are also lots of stolen books. Lady Lessons, once the Black Pony of Dislike, said. But the worst are the ornaments. Take a look around these cabinets. Every single one of these valuable ornaments was stolen from somewhere by new helper number 6 and helpers numbers 45 and 46 mainly, all from one particular place. But again, we have no idea where they came from.
They should have been mine too.
Jackie said.
But they were stolen from old helper number 6's house.
Well, you can have those back too then, Lady Lessons said. It's wrong that it should all be kept in this castle, when it was all stolen goods.
Anyway, back to the reason that we brought you in here.
Rainbow Showers said, looking up to the ceiling to guide everybody's heads up to the horrors which lay on shelves near the ceiling.
All of those shiny and horrible things, which were once nice things, are, it's too horrid to talk about. Oh, sorrow!
The little white pony just couldn't get out of shouting her old black pony saying one last time, because the horrors that lay on the high shelves did cause everybody in the room a great deal of sorrow, because all around the room, on several shelves, were hundreds and hundreds of plastic My Little Ponies who had been painted with a very gloopy paint. They had all been made into very bad customs, as the horrible helpers like them to be known. But if Desiree had had her own way, she would have said that they had all been made into a very bad mess, because all of the ponies above were no longer who they used to be, but instead were covered mainly in black, grey and purple paint, in such a way that you could see where the paintbrush had been going up and down their legs and bodies. You could see all the trails in the paint, so thick and gloopy was it. And their hair was matted and of uneven lengths. Why, oh why, couldn't they have left them as they were before? Desiree said, tears springing to the corners of her eyes. The hundreds of ponies gazed back down at them. They were not moving. They killed them, Desiree said. She turned round and saw that all of the ponies and guinea pigs and other creatures around the room were crying too, including the 4 helpers.
That is just plain cruel. How could they do that? Have all of those living creatures and paint them alive? There they are, all covered in that horrible gloopy stuff. But I don't think it was like that, but kill them,
Twinkle said.
It's what they did to their, eyes afterwards, Look, rather than leaving them as they were, they repainted all of their eyes, and they're put huge, great black splotches around them. That is horrible.
I think you'll find, Twinkle, that they don't call that putting horrible black splotches around their eyes, but instead thickening their eyelashes, if I do remember correctly. That's right, Truly. I think I found a page about it in my book somewhere, Lancer said. He picked up the little notebook and flicked through the pages. Ah, here we are. Customizing down on Earth. I pulled out these facts from the Book of Ponyland's history, and also some of those notes that the ponies wrote down on Mystery Solving Day. Lofty walked over and peered into the book and began to read out loud.
Customizing, a word which is often used to cover up the nasty hobby that a lot of pony collectors down on Earth have. Many black ponies' helpers are customizers too. And then there's a huge great row of details, but there's too much to read. Well, I think we really owe it to these ponies, Lofty, to read out all of the words in that book. They all died because of this nasty hobby. And so, You need to at least read out those words of sorrow in that book and just tell us what we really need to know about them. 'Cause it's just not fair, well, to leave them, is it?
No, it certainly isn't, Pinkie Pie, Sparkle agreed, jumping up onto the little pony's shoulder so that he could see into the book. First of all, the head is removed from the body. The nasty humans cut the mane, put long tweezers up inside the head, and rip out the remainder of the hair. They then use the tweezers to pull out the tail from the inside. Then they begin the process of RHing, or re-hairing them. Splodge jumped up onto Pinkie Pie's shoulder too, so that he could read.
They will then use long needles, and having tied knots in false hair, they'll thread each individual little bit of hair through the holes in a pony's head, in a colour of their choice. Sometimes, though, before they begin the re-hairing process, they will paint the pony's body a different colour, or dye it, in a boiling vat. It doesn't seem like a very nice hobby to me. Well, it did say at the start that it was a nasty hobby, my dearest brother. So I wouldn't be so shocked about that. Anyway, we know that humans are not very nice, and especially not the helpers. No offense to you for it, by the way,
Dodge said, quickly realizing that 4 of the helpers were standing in that room, having turned against the black ponies and joined the MLP's side. A new symbol will be painted, and often the eyes will be changed. And that's what's happened here, Desiree said, sadly looking up at the ponies. The eyes have all been changed. Every single eye has been repainted.
yes, and there is something strange about them. I haven't heard. It has taken the eye heart. It has taken all of the eye again. And the eyes of heroes. And I just look at it, at least that's what I think, that they have ruined them.
Kiwi Tart said.
They do not think that they've ruined them, you know, Kiwi Tart. They think that they've enhanced them, apparently, you know. At least that's what it said in the book. Enhance the eyes. They will enhance the eyes by widening the irises and making the pupils even smaller. Then they add glimmer to the eye and, you know, blush to the cheeks. If they want to, they will sometimes add a symbol to the nose and most certainly add a symbol to at least one hip. This is truly, you know, awful.
But I don't even think that it's that killed them, Desiree said. Their eyes are so glassy. It's absolutely horrendous. I can't imagine what they've done to make those eyes so glassy.
I can see it in this book right now. I know exactly what they've done, Desiree. It says that to make the eyes look more lifelike, i.e. glassy, and unrealistic, they will put nail varnish over the top of the eyes. So to make them look more lifelike, they poison them and kill them. Dodge was in tears now too, as was everybody else in the room. Everyone stood around the room sobbing, and Desiree, in the only way she could think of to cheer herself up and show a tribute to the ponies, began to sing a song about the poor little custom ponies' predicament. Filled with sorrow, your heart breaks and you saint. I want to tear out your hair and strip them of their rotten paint.
turned back time to when they were toys, and they ran happy and free. Or just a few short months so they could all come home with me. We can only do our best now, see what harm we can undo. I'm sure one day the pain will wash away. Ponies, I'll try to rescue you. It was very late by this time, almost midnight, and so they realized they could do nothing tonight for the poor little ponies, except pack them into boxes and take them back down the spiral staircase. They would start that job tonight, so that if the helpers and black ponies came back tomorrow at 8 p.m, they would at least be ready to run away as fast as they could with these ponies, and see if anything at all could be done for the poor little things. The inhabitants of Ponyland and the Pony Rescue Home down on Earth discussed their plans all through the following day, the 5th of September 2006. They were surprised at 8 p.m. when none of the helpers returned. Obviously, the humans had been thrown out by the dates, which Majesty now told them was her plan. Maybe they would even think that they had been to Ponyland for the meeting the Tuesday before, and had just forgotten about it, in which case perhaps they would never return. The 4 former helpers had been down to Earth, and had spoken to their families, who had agreed to check all of the local places which sold second-hand toys, in the hopes that they may find the custom bait, or not such custom bait as the case may be, ponies who had been taken away by the other helpers. The Black Pony of Misery's helper, of course the Black Pony of Misery was now Dandy, so the once Black Pony of Misery's helper may have been more correct, had even come to an agreement with a certain family member who was actually a pony collector, that if she found any My Little Ponies, she would show them to helper number 20, and if they turned out to be part of the custom bait bundle which had been taken down to Earth and distributed across the globe, then they would be donated to the My Little Pony Rescue Home. Of course, unfortunately, the 4 helpers had had to tell their families the whole story of why they wanted these ponies. They had been worried that their families would laugh at them, but in fact none of them had. Strangely, the helpers' families had not been too surprised. Maybe they had already guessed or seen some kind of sign, which meant that it had come as less of a shock to them. The worst problem that any of them had had was that the pony collecting cousin of one of the helpers, who was the family member who I just mentioned, wanted to come to Ponyland, and the ponies were rather nervous, since they didn't want another disaster like the Black Pony's helpers, starting all over again. They didn't think that they would actually trust another human for as long as they lived. But helper number 20 convinced them that this strange pony collector, although very excitable, would probably be alright to visit Ponyland sometime, if only they would allow it. She wasn't the sort to tell other people down on Earth. Desiree and Jackie were going to go searching for ponies around London the following weekend, and hopefully they would be able to save some of the custom bait ponies too. The chances were that most of the MLPs would be taken to car boot sales the following weekend. That would be the first opportunity that the human helpers would have to get money for their custom bait MLPs. Having discussed their plans all day, it wasn't until almost 11 p.m. that they finally decided that the helpers were not coming that day, and so it was safe to start trying to undo the damage which they had seen in the helpers' community room upstairs. Desiree opened up a bag of custom MLPs. The first pony she pulled out of the bag was a little G3 pony who had been painted to look like the rare G1 pony Rapunzel. Obviously, the little MLP was actually a Sky Wishes. Her glassy eyes stared back at Desiree. Just for a moment, Desiree thought she saw a little teardrop shining in the very corner of her eye, but it may have just been where her eyes had been enhanced with nail varnish. The poor little pony had had her hair torn out of her head, and yellow and pink curls threaded in instead. A pink braid in her mane had been made to look exactly like the G1.
That little pony belonged to helper number 24,
Rainbow Showers said.
It's absolutely horrible. She was customized for her by a friend, but their friends fell out with each other soon after the helper number 24 got it.
Desiree pulled another little G3 pony from the bag, obviously once a little pony by the name of Waterfire. But now, although she had managed to keep her own colour, nail varnish had been smeared all over her, which was supposed to give her a pearly sheen, but instead just made her look a real mess. She'd kept her own hair, luckily, too, but her symbol had been scratched away, and instead now there was a flame painted on her hip, with an F written inside it. A red mask had been painted on her face.
And that was to hide her identity,
Dandy said.
At least that's what helper number 29 used to say. She bought her along with a load of others on that horrible internet auction site where so many ponies meet their doom.
The poor little pony had also had a red band painted around her neck, with silver star sequins stuck on her chest to make it look like a necklace, and she had had flames painted on her hooves. She had kept her own eyes, except that they had been enhanced, and so the poor little pony just stared at them with the now glassy, dead eyes. Was there any life under there?
The G3s are really the saddest of all,
Dazzle said.
because simply they're torn straight from their packets, and then painted straight away. They've never even had a life. They weren't even kept as children's toys for 20 years, so they never had the chance to enjoy themselves before they were killed off by this horrible paint and nail varnish.
I don't know that I'd say that the G3s were the worst, Dazzle, Lady Lesson said, pulling a little G1 pony from the bag. This pony was once Pony Bride. She was painted by helper number 30, who later gave her as a present to helper number 54. As you can see, she's been completely covered in shimmery brown paint.
And what I say is that she's had that lovely white tail pulled out and replaced with a horrible brown one.
Chocolate brown, to be precise, Lady Lessons said. At least, that's what I remember helper number 30 saying when she made her. She's supposed to be a footballer's wife pony named Posh, but to me she'll always be the very good condition Pony Bride, who I saw helper number 30 customizing. You can still see what good condition her mane was in, since that is her original mane, which has just been dyed brown. Her symbol is still under there too, although now, of course, it's been painted over, and those small diamond sequins put in its place. She's kept her own eyes. There may be something we can do for her. What are those strange objects that come with her? They're not even well made. Sparkle went over and sniffed some funny things which came with the pony.
So Larry Tot, you're like right there, you know, Sparkle. What is that horrible blue thing, you know?
Well, it looks to me as though somebody tried to make her a handbag out of an old pair of denim trousers. They're rather worn out, and they absolutely stink. No doubt a helper's trousers that haven't even been washed. And they really thought that somebody would actually want this pony? Helper number 54 really appreciated her. She thought that she fitted her personality perfectly.
That's just like disgusting!
Twinkle cried, looking at the poor little pony. I agree with you there, Twinkle, his owner said. But unfortunately, I don't see what we can do. The pony picked up a pair of red sunglasses which had been made for the footballer's wife pony. There was also an elastic band which had been painted silver.
And what is that supposed to be?
Lofty asked.
To me it looks like a rubber band.
It's supposed to be a choker with a chain attached to it. It was supposed to be the height of fashion, Dazzle said. But to me, it always looked like they tried to turn her into a dog. Yes, Lady Lessons agreed. And that is her collar and lead. There must be something that we can do for these poor ponies. So I think that we ought to have a cleaning session until midnight. It's 11 o'clock now, so that gives us an hour to do as much as we possibly can. Then tomorrow we should work all through the day and see how many of these poor little creatures we can save. Pinkie Pie giggled.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Desiree. For once we're actually in agreement.
And I take that to mean that it's a good idea.
A splendid idea, in fact.
Sparkle joined in. And so, the ponies, both from Ponyland and from the Pony Rescue Home, the humans, guinea pigs, and other creatures in the castle set to work. First of all, they found the half-barrel which Mary Cluckton used to stand on to make agreements. It was strange, but what had once seemed such a horrible black pony symbol would now be used for a good cause. They turned it the other way up, and as Triple Treat had now found that she could multiply their water supply by 3, which meant that they had a never-ending supply, they began to pour some of the paint cans full of water into the barrel. Soon they had a tub of water. Desiree pulled a little white pony out of the bag. Helper number 31 told her that her name was Crystal Blue. She had been made and kept by helper number 43. She had been made quite recently out of a cute curtsy pony who had been taken straight from her packet and customized immediately. The little pony still had her own colour, but she now had two-tone blue and aqua hair. Her symbol was a cheap and nasty 3D butterfly, made from some hair accessories which you could get in 99p stores. The pink butterfly was surrounded by little blue stars and lots of glitter. The poor little thing had even had her eyes repainted and silver eyeshadow painted on. Desiree realized that to complete this job, they would have to work in teams. First of all, they would wash the pony in the tub of water. Then they would use nail varnish to get off the worst of the paint. Then, where ponies had been re-haired, they would take out the old hair and re-hair them with their own colours, so that the little ponies if they hadn't been killed by their ordeal, would once again be able to move. Helper number 32 explained that it may not be a case that the ponies had actually died under the paint and nail varnish, but in fact that they just could not move while they were in their current state. Only ponies who had been made by Hasbro could come to life. Those who had been painted to somebody else's design, or even as ponies in Ponyland and Ponyville who had not yet been made, could not move. And so this meant that if they could get the paint off of the ponies, and give them back their own colour hair, and repaint their symbols and eyes the right colours too, which shouldn't be too hard considering that there was spare hair and paint all over the castle, the ponies would be free to move once again. It would be a long job though, considering the time that it took for these people to do these horrible things to the ponies. It would take twice as long to undo. But everybody in the room agreed that these little ponies deserved a second chance. There was no such thing as custom bait, Desiree said. Every pony meant something to someone once. Except maybe these poor ponies who the customizers don't even give a chance to find a loving home, even for a couple of years. But even so, even if the pony hasn't had a loving home, somewhere there is somebody who would love to own her. And if there is nowhere else, all ponies are always welcome at my rescue home. And that's exactly where all of these MLPs will be going. So I just hope that we can save them, and we'll find that they are alive under the layers of horrible sticky goo which the customizers have covered them in. I just hope that once we peel back all of this horrible stuff, we will find that the damage is not permanent. I know that's a lot of dreams, but I think that if we work hard enough, these dreams can come true. A good stop in our water tub will clean up some sticky brew. Nail varnish remover will make you good as new. Official MLP hopper, I've come to your rescue. And soon I'll make all your dreams come true. With gloomy capsules torn out, your original colour grows. There's no custom date, it's never too late, as restoration chase. Now to repaint the symbols, give you back your pretty eyes. Those who thought their lives had been cut short, arranged for such a surprise. Brought back to their former glory, they transfer me and you. Finally free to come home with me. We made your dreams come true. We made your dreams come true. And that was the song which the humans, ponies, guinea pigs and other creatures in the room had decided to sing for the following hour, while they worked hard to undo the damage which the customizing helpers had done. They only hoped that everything in the song would come true. Desiree got a shock as she plunged the first little pony into the tub of water. Crystal Blue, who had once been Cute Curtsy, of course. She was surprised that the butterfly in her symbol and the stars came off quite easily. The eyes were harder though, since they had been sealed with nail varnish. Luckily though, former helpers numbers 21, 31 and 32 had some nail varnish remover, which they were quite happy to donate for this good cause. And so Desiree started to scrub off the repainted eyes. Then they could paint back the eyes as they should be, and hopefully the little pony would spring into life. The shock that Desiree got was when she had managed to remove all of the eyes and removed all of the hair, which had been so false, leaving a bald, white little pony, who suddenly moved her leg and began to scream.
Someone help me!
The little pony cried.
I was painted alive! Someone tried to kill me! And now I can't see a thing! Taken straight from my carriage and painted those horrible colors! Oh, my hair taken away and my tiara! That wasn't right! And now I can't see a thing! What is happening now?
It's alright, cute Curtsy, Desiree said. The real cute Curtsy from Ponyville was looking quite distressed. A nasty lady decided they wanted to make you unique. I don't think they realized how much pain it would cause you. But I'm bringing you back to the way you were now. And once that's done, you'll feel as good as new. Desiree only hoped that she was telling the little pony the truth. Luckily, Desiree realized that one of the very special magic boxes, which had the ability to transport people to Ponyland and bring plastic My Little Ponies to life, was sitting in the corner. Obviously, the black ponies and their helpers had stolen one of them at one point. Desiree raced over and put the little pony, who had once been known as Cute Curtsy, then Crystal Blue, but was now being transformed back into Cute Curtsy, in the box, and turned the key. This would stop her suffering for now. Then Desiree realized that all of the little ponies were probably the same. Of course, they come out of the packet alive, don't they? Desiree said. The new ones do anyway. Most likely, all of these ponies are alive. We ought to just put them straight into the box and turn the key. That way we can work on them and bring them back to the way they used to be without causing them any more distress. The ponies all agreed and began to pile the custom MLPs into the box. They turned the key, and soon all of the little MLPs came out looking exactly the same, because of course under the paint they all appeared dead. But Desiree would change that over the next couple of days. Soon all of these ponies would be the way they used to be. The human helpers down on Earth were confused. They knew that they were supposed to have returned to Ponyland on a Tuesday, but when they had looked at their calendar, they found that that Tuesday had passed. Had they dreamt it? They didn't remember anything else happening that week either, and the past 8 days had gone by so fast, so they hadn't done anything this week either. They really didn't know what to think at all. It was now the 12th of September, and still they were feeling confused. But since it was a Tuesday, they thought maybe they had imagined that Mary had said the date of 2 Tuesdays previously. Perhaps today was the date on which Mary had wanted them to return to Ponyland. All of the helpers were thinking this, including Mary herself. She was confused by what she remembered saying to the other helpers when she realized that the date had already passed, and so all of the black ponies and their helpers began to climb their separate rainbows back up to Ponyland and heading for their own corners of Nightmare Land, and eventually ending up in Nightmare Castle, they hoped, where a surprise was waiting for them. A A very nice surprise for the black ponies and their helpers, no doubt. Because when the 120 nasty creatures who lived in Nightmare Land walked into the castle, they would find all of the MLPs and other creatures who lived in Ponyland, plus the girl from Earth and her mother, and all of the ponies from the rescue home, perfect CB, waiting for them, exactly where they wanted them, in the castle, where it would be easy to put them into their dungeon and take over Ponyland. To find out what happened next, please turn to side B of My Little Pony Mystery number 15, Who is the Black Pony of Darkness? Tape 3.